Alrighty, everyone. And I wanted to give a shout out to our next episode and our guests here, DeJuan McCallister, on a new episode with Health, Wealth, and Mindset with Momentum. And so today I wanted to basically dive into one of the main topics that has been open for discussion for a while is men in the business area, right? Business owners, the mindset, the work ethic, the compassion, the understanding, and everything that goes into it with being a man in this generation in business goes into. And kind of also breaking the stereotypes and breaking the misconceptions of you have to be in a corporate environment in order to be successful and creating your own successful path. So today I have my husband, DeJuan McCallister, here with me. And I wanted to dive deep, go a little bit more in detail in how you became the man you are today, the business owner, the individual who is breaking barriers in a very unorthodox way. So it's your cue.
She's good. Real good. So make a long story short, I basically started with learning from people who started at the bottom. For example, a good young man, well, not a young man anymore, his name is Ulysses. Cool mentor of mine back in the day that used to mentor me. He owned a real estate company in Logan Square, Chicago, Illinois. And basically, he taught me how to sell, taught me how to market. I was like 18. I was actually 19 going on 20. Yeah, 19 going on 20. This is 2008 at the time. I know I look young, thank God. Thank God every day for that. But at that time, there wasn't like social media wasn't like that. So I had to learn from ground, literally from ground and above. And he taught me like how to guerrilla market. He taught me how to speak to people in a way where they like he taught me how to sell the truth. And I just took that with me with every avenue that I've faced in my life as far as like making money, going into corporate. And even when I went into corporate, I was able to sell like heart monitors. I was able to sell um, car warranties, as you know, policies, especially property and casualty policies. Even though I didn't take the test, but I was able to speak the language. I knew how to sell policies to clients that needed it. So it's basically just learn from, these amazing men that were in my corner. Like Ulysses, Edwin Moreno, shout out to, Edwin, shout out to Benny Negretti. Um, they were just some of the men. Shout out to Juan Gonzalez. Um, who else? Just a lot of men that were in the industry and also were able to show me that anything is possible as long as you study the product or service and you learn how to use your tone. And that obviously goes to Jeremy Minor. Learning how to use your tone is super important. So I learned that throughout the years. 20 years span, by the way. 20 years of marketing and sales. And that's why now I know you're talking about the business ownership part.
Yeah. Yeah. What made you want to become a business owner?
You. Yeah. My beautiful wife right here. So I know like at the time when we first started our company of, credit repair, obviously the weight was heavy on your shoulders, but she didn't want to let it go. And that was like my way, like that was God's way of coming in my life and saying, nah, like you were bred for this, you were trained for this, you were born for this. So just take it off of her shoulders and turn it into something that, like, turn it into your vision, what you see. So once I did that, I was able to um, understand that we need employees, understand that we need a team. And I knew how to not only get the team, but I knew how to train the team. Like I knew how to put my ducks in a row from watching all the people before me.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I became a business owner, because of seeing what you wanted to do, but to give it off to somebody like myself who was able to master the ownership of the business. So that's how I became a business owner.
And I think it's cool because one of the main things that I needed to learn was, I think what I was nurturing it, I was feeding it, I was doing the disputing, I was kind of filling so many hats at that same time that I didn't really know how to be an entrepreneur at that point. And those were some of the strong suits that he had, right? That mentorship, that guidance, that understanding of what it's like to be an entrepreneur. Those were some of the things that I lacked because I was always in this mindset of working up the corporate ladder, climbing my way to the top and working hard instead of working a little bit smarter. And so making that decision was very hard for me because, I mean, like I said, that was my identity after I had our daughter, right? That was the biggest other baby that I had crafted and built from the ground up. And it was also part of my identity because I could no longer be in the corporate environment. And having to also let that part of me go was where I struggled a little bit until I started really seeing what true leadership he had, right? That understanding of sales, that empathy, that compassion, the understanding of how to do 2 to 3 things at one time, which is something that I wasn't always the greatest in, and being able to handle that with such stress-free and understanding. Me, I mean, you give me 2 or 3 things and juggle, I'm like, hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. Let me finish this. Let me finish that. Because I mean, I'm a Gemini, right? I like to finish my projects because if not, I'll get lost in la la land. And he don't have that. And that's one of the biggest things and one of his best strengths and qualities that he had. And the moment that I said, you know what, let's go, let's do it, let's transition this business on over. You take full force. You guide it. You take it into the next direction. Let me tell you, it flourished. And here we are today in a position that it would have never gotten to without him taking that leadership. So I applaud you for that because that was one of the hurdles that we did have to get through. But I knew he was strong enough for it. I just didn't know how to do that without also losing part of my identity and building something for myself, right? And for us as a family. And yeah, so I definitely recommend you being a business owner because ever since that has happened, it has made life easier and more balanced for me as well. And it's allowed me to really sit back and nurture and be the individual that is consulting and really being able to give that financial guidance, which is what my strengths really are, right? Consulting and confiding in paralegal work and doing things like that for my clients, which is really, really beneficial. So I would say one of the other questions that I had for you was understanding, like, when I first met you, you were very big into insurance, in the insurance world. You had a lot of big connections in the insurance world. And I think one of the biggest things that we wanted to do was tap into that industry because, for one, they're great referrals in our industry. But not only that, it helped. They're good people, right? They want to make sure that people's lives and policies and their businesses are safe and secure. So that way, if anything out of the ordinary, because life will throw loops and holes and circles and all these things in your way, that these people are secure and that they're not financially going crazy, right? So I feel like you stepping into that element with that background and that experience and that guidance before, plus what we were already doing, really balanced you out and made you into this like super entrepreneur in the financial industry, let alone with hustling and being in the streets and knowing how to, I mean, selling CDs by hands and coming home with $500 a night, you know, like those are things that I never would have imagined myself doing. You know, so those are some of the things that I, let alone, would have never imagined myself doing. And so, yeah.
I learned from some good people. You know, that's one thing I can always. I've learned from some really good people. I'm talking, man, the people that I've learned from, like they may not be like book smart, but They're very street smart, and they're great people. You know, they weren't like the brightest crayon in the crayon box, but they were good people.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned on my street, you know, sales and just understanding a human being from a different uh, standpoint as far as like, oh, you know, I can do this for you if you sign up. No, like what's your story?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? You find out their story, you can find out their pain.
Yeah.
And when you find their pain, you're the antidote, right? So if I got the antidote, but first I need to diagnose that pain and see like why are you hurting?
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to do that. So
yeah,
you know, that's what makes me a salesman. That's what makes me a great business owner, I believe. You know, because it's you can't just be like, all right, well, I got this, so sign up for that. No, you also have to. You gotta understand what they're going through.
Yeah.
You know, that might be their last dollar to, you know, to feed themselves, and they're gonna put their trust in you to sign up for whether it be credit repair or online passive income dropship store. It's all about that empathy, man. It really is. I'm telling you, it really is.
And I applaud that, and people who have that level of empathy. I am still searching for that level of empathy. I always say I have that bit of empathy for my home. And on the outside of that, I have knowledge, facts, straightforwardness.
That's the thing. You don't got to search for it.
No.
You don't need it because you continue being the best version
Yeah.
of you because you don't have to. Everybody's got their own power. You grow your own power. If you don't got the empathy, that's fine. I got that. You got something else, which is great. It's just continue to water it. That's all that needs to be done. Other than that, same with me. I got certain things that you don't have. I just gotta continue to water it so it just blossoms into something dope. Yeah.
And so one of the biggest questions that I really had for you, and I've wanted to get on camera for a while now, is how do you continue to excel and break new records and develop these new skill sets without crashing out and burning?
Spiritual. My faith in God. That's where it comes from. And it's crazy because like my faith in God is so strong that it's like it's second nature for me to be to tap into that power, to tap into like growing our business. It's second nature. It's like I understand what people need. I understand what even our employees who now we have under our team, what they need. And it's just all about not just, getting people to sign up for our services, but it's also training our clients and training our employees and letting them know like, okay, you got something great. Let me teach you. So it just goes back to like I can't keep all these gifts. I gotta give it away. That's why it's a gift, right?
Yeah.
To give it away. So I believe that's how we've been flourishing. I know how to give away. I have a lot of compassion. I know I get that from my mom, but I got a lot of it and I know how to use it.
Yeah. And you certainly do. I mean, obviously I'm his wife. I know his mother too, my mother-in-law. But I think one of the biggest things from how you grew up is the calmness and the sternness and the discipline of your background and how you were raised. And I think that has a really big role in how you partake on clients and how you have that compassion for them as well and letting them understand and feel that you're right there with them. And I always, like I said, I always commend you for that because it's a skill that is something that you can't learn, something that you're just given and you either have it or you don't. And so from your background and your experience in the corporate world, in the entrepreneurship world, in being a father, being a husband, being a man first, right? When it comes up to, let's say you have worked on all these clients, all of these clients are into your system, they're processed, their results are coming in, everything is moving well. How do you, as a man, move forward in business and build your own lead system? how do you factor in like where these people are coming from and how you're able to reach so many individuals?
Well, once we get the results, I always get back on the phone with them and let them know, like, hey, your end goal is complete, which it could be a car, home, funding, but your end goal is complete. So now who else can we complete a goal for? Is it your mom? Is it your dad? Is it your sister, your brother?
Yeah.
Send them my number. Let me talk to them. They want a good credit score too, right? It's not just that one person. They want to benefit from what we've given them too. It's like, all right, well, I know my cousin, I know my sister, I know my brother, I know my aunt, I know my uncle. I can bring you my family because I know someone that is in need of getting a new house, getting a new car.
Yeah.
And they need it 2-3 months from now. You're the only one that I know that's fixed my credit within that 2-3 months time frame.
Yeah.
Your company is awesome. I'm gonna bring you more people. Perfect. Now my follow-up game is extraordinary. Like I have to follow up. I don't wear out my welcome though. Yeah. That's that, but I will follow up. I'm like, hey, you told me, you have your mom and sister, and then sometimes they forget. Like, oh yeah, I forgot. I got you. Thank you. That means a lot. And we also, as you know, get referral bonuses.
Gotcha. So that tap rooting and that follow-up game is what makes you stand out compared to someone who just is thinking of starting a business as a hobby.
Because it's not just that one person. You got to think bigger than yourself.
Well, I'm learning a lot. I learn more every day. Every single day I learn from this man here, honestly. I learn where I'm weak at. I learn where I'm strong at. I learned how to move forward and how to connect and communicate with a lot of people because of him. And I'm the type of person that if I am in my zen and I am in my zone, you're not hearing from me for about 3 hours. And I'm going to be real, which is why, he is the man when it comes up to communication. But I think that's what sets us so apart when it comes up to this business because, like, I understand as a woman, right, as a mom, as a woman who homeschools their child, like I am on consultations throughout the day, Monday through Friday. I am also making sure that leads are coming in and being generated. Our funnels are being created, doing a lot of technical work, AI, content creation, CRM work. That's kind of where my meat and potatoes is when it comes up to my place in the business. Is the creative aspect, right? Building, creating captions, creating things like that, AI artwork. And he is the body, right? The whole embodiment of what that business is. And I think if you were a man right now that was working a 9 to 5, that was interested in starting their own business, what would you say to that?
I would ask him, how did you do it? And how can I start? And then from there I would sit and learn all ears. That's why we got 2 ears, one mouth, like I would sit and I would learn from him and any steps that he asks me, like, hey, I need you to sign up for this, I need you to do this and follow that step because he's done it. You'll be a fool not to follow someone who's already done it, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to get to that next step in life, which is being financially free, if that person is financially free, I'm going to follow his steps that he's teaching me and I'm going to pay whatever I need to pay, to get to that point. Otherwise, if I don't, then I'm stuck. Yeah. And I was tired of being stuck.
Okay. And I know when it comes up to being a business owner, a lot of it is spiritual work, right? Sales is very spiritual. I hear it over and over and over and over again in any industry. Sales is very spiritual. Now, what happens when you are in that lock-in mode, in that grind mode, in that outreach mode, and there's urges and temptations that peak in saying, I want to do this, I want to have fun, I want to go out and enjoy myself, but yet the goal hasn't been met.
Question.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel then? What do you do in those situations?
I would say it all depends. Like if I did too much selling and nobody's, everybody's chilling, nobody's hitting me back up, be patient.
Okay.
Read, right? Learn something new. You don't even got to be reading, right? Go on YouTube and learn more, hone more of your skill and keep learning until that that person hits you back. Therefore, when that person hits you back, you've already learned how to articulate your words from learning from those videos, from being patient.
Yeah.
And being patient has a lot to do with reading, a lot to do with viewing, mentorships. At this point, you can go on YouTube and find mentors. But you gotta pick and choose. If you're doing too much of something, stop. Mm-hmm. And if you need to have fun, go have fun. Even if you gotta walk around the block and just get some fresh air, or if you have money to go have fun, go have some fun. That might just be the antidote and the answer you need. Mm-hmm. You might run into another client that's outside that's also having fun as well. Like, oh, I do this, this, and this. Mm-hmm. I sell this product, or I got this service. Hey, check me out. Here's my card. Mm-hmm. And then that person calls you back. It's like, yo, I need you. Yeah. Right? So it's all about that balance, man. Like, if you're doing too much, anything is bad. Yeah. So that's how I look at that.
Yeah, because networking is really the lifeline of your business, right? Yep. And so you can call out as many people as you want. You can cold call. You can hold DM. You can do all of these different things. But if you're not networking in your business, you're not going to excel to the levels that you want to excel in, because who's going to know you're around? Who's going to know your business? Who's going to know what you're about? One thing I always talk about as well, and you talk about pretty often, is if they don't know what you do, even you could be in the elevator of your building apartment complex. If they don't know what you do, then you're losing out on money. You're losing out on partnerships. You're losing out on networking opportunities. You're losing out. And that's one of the biggest things that I would say some entrepreneurs don't really do as well. And that will separate you from the successful entrepreneur compared to the one who is just using this business as a hobby. And when it came up to really deciding on taking over this financial business and growing it to the levels that you wanted to, what made you sit here and say, okay, I'm not going to treat this as a hobby? How do I go from not treating this to a hobby as I'm going to put my all into this and work this as a 9 to 5? Because, as entrepreneurs, we know it's not really 9 to 5. It's 12 to 12. You're doing more work than you would expect to in a 9 to 5, because you're building, right? And that takes time to build an empire and a platform that's going to bring some type of generational wealth, right? So what made you kick it into that second gear and say, this isn't going to be a hobby, this is going to be my future?
Just seeing what the blessings that our company can give. Like, I'll sacrifice anything to break away from the 9 to 5 is for me to see the blessing that somebody else is getting from our company. Yeah. If they got blessed with a new house, a new car, that's all the ammo I need to move forward with focusing on that 9 to 5. Because when you think about it, you're putting 8 hours on a job. But if you put 8 hours on what you sell, or what you like, a service or a product on your own business, the key is just learning how to market, learning how to network, learning who to talk to, learning what your network is. Because you can network to anybody, but if you network to the wrong person,
you're not going to get it.
It ain't gonna work. Yeah. So it's all about knowing where to network, who to network to, how to network it. Yeah. It's all about the when, who, where, how, why. It's all about knowing. So it's like, once I found that, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, I can do this to do that. I can connect this dot to get to that dot. Once I started connecting the dots,
you started aligning.
It was like, ding. Big light bulbs just went off in my head. This, and just do this from 9 to 5. Yeah. And once that started happening, as you know, life just took off.
And the crazy part about that too is, based on so many statistics, most entrepreneurs hated school, right? Most self-starters didn't like school. They didn't even finish high school. They are not the individuals who wanted to listen to a system and follow the rules. And so I see a lot of successful entrepreneurs today, including yourself, and you fit that stereotype just perfectly. What do you think about that stereotype? Why do you think it's so true?
Because we don't fit in the mold system.
Okay.
We are the system. Some people can fit in the system, and some people cannot. You can't put me in a box.
Okay.
I am the box, right? I'm the person that creates the box. You know, some people like to fit in that box. You know, you got workers and then you have business owners. Mm-hmm. Some people want to, like myself, like I've never been the type to, like, I've always been very smart, but I've never been like the type to just, like they say, do homework. I ain't doing no homework. You do homework. How about that now? I've never been a systematic kind of guy. So that's what set me apart. And it was like, okay, I need to be a business owner. Even if I got to invest, right? I got to continue to pay for employees to do what they do on our behalf. Therefore, I did just that. So it's like, I understand that I am the system.
Okay. That makes sense. And I know one of the topics you just touched on was the investment part of being a business owner. I think that's one of the biggest things that most people skip over is it's a lot of out-of-pocket funding, right? It's a lot of, I want to start this business, but I don't have the capital. I don't think I need the capital to start a business. But any business in this generation, especially in today's generation, you need to have capital invested into that business. It's the lifeline, right along with networking, right? It is the lifeline to your business. So as a business owner, you've been doing this for now 6 going on 7 years. What is your biggest expense that most entrepreneurs should be investing into every month in their business?
Advertisement. I don't care if it's a product. I don't care if you're selling a service. You need to spend your money on ads and spend your money on marketing. It must be done. Because without that, nobody's going to even know you. Like, for example, I mean, how they look at Target, McDonald's, Burger King. I keep going and going and going. But what's one thing you see in a commercial?
Everywhere, advertisement.
You can go driving on a highway and you look up for a split second, what you going to see?
McDonald's sign.
Exactly. You're going to see the McDonald's sign hanging right off the E-way right there.
Exit 355B.
It's all about those eyes, man. Yeah. Actually, there you go. It's all about those eyes. And it's like, if you don't have eyes, then they're not going to know you. They don't know who you are. And if they don't know who you are, how are you supposed to get the product out there? How are you supposed to sell the service? Yeah. If they don't know who you are, they must know you. They got to trust you. Yeah. That's what it's. And I feel like that also dives right into as important as a health line as branding. Right. And I feel like branding is another special, branding is beautiful thing when it comes up to a business that if you don't stay consistent with your branding, right? If you don't do the same thing over and over and over again in your business and it doesn't ring bells in people's head, like McDonald's, they have a tagline. Everyone knows it, you know? I love branding, by the way. I love the art of branding. I truly do. I think it's everything. I think branding is like everything. You know, if you're going to invest in marketing, branding, and advertisement. Those 3 things, that's what you're going to need. That's what we did. And that's why we are. You know, I did it organically. Some people don't have the strength to do it organically. But I branded our company organically. And as you know, it just blew up. Like, it's going crazy. So it's like, you know, Golden Life Consulting. As soon as you hear that word, you know you're going to get results. And that's just what it is. Okay. Well, one of my biggest questions that I really have for you as well is the fact that you are ringing bells. Golden Life Consulting is ringing bells, right? And not only are we partnered with a lot of different realtors, a lot of different mortgage companies, one of the biggest things that I wanted to talk about is how do you continue keeping those relationships strong and watering them so that it's mutually beneficial? What kind of relationship? With your partners. Because in this industry, you need partners, right? Yeah. It's a lot easier to build with a partnership than it is to find 100 clients, right? If you find 5 phenomenal partners to work with and you bring them something that's mutually beneficial, like you found a gold mine,
right? You hacked into a server, you found the glitch. And that is one of the biggest things that I always say in any industry is partnerships. It can make you or it can break you. Now, how do you move forward with being a business that is mutually beneficial? Okay.
Yeah, keeping the communication line open between the business partner, the client that he sends over, and ourselves. Like, for example, you handle a lot of that, where we get the client in, right? Let's say, shout out to Justin, shout out to Brandon, shout out to Michelle, shout out to Doug,
Neighborhood loans, DB group.
The DB group, yep, cross country mortgage. Like, we keep in communication and we send out emails every time. When the client gets updates, they get updates. And I also check in with them. Hey, how you doing? When's the next event? It's going to be, it's all about communication. So communication.
And that's the key to anything in life, right? Communication with partners, spouses, friends, kids, teachers, staff. Everything is all on communication. And you're great at that, And so I always say, if you want to know an answer and I'm not right there, right then to reach out to you, text DeJuan. He'll always get back to you. And if I don't get back to you, he's gonna be like, hey, this person text, what happened? Oh, okay, give me a second. Let me get to you. So communication is one of those big things when it comes up to anything in life, as far as it being the most important, right? And we realize that in a lot of different relationships, whether they're business related or personal, that without that level of communication, there's just confusion, and nobody likes to be confused. Nobody wants to sit in that that misunderstanding section, and that I feel like you do really, really well. So I wanted to just ask you one final question, right? Having the success that you've had, helping over 2,000 clients, funding over 50 businesses, funding over 60 people individually, personally, so they can get their dreams started. How does that make you feel going into 2026? Like, what are your 2026 goals?
That's a good question. My 2026 goals, one of them is to expand our business to more states. I love Illinois. My wife loves Illinois.
I don't love Illinois. He's lying. Okay. I love Florida. And I can't wait to see California.
I love Florida too. Florida was, oh my gosh, Miami. Man, I've gotten so much love in Miami. Shout out to Miami, Florida.
Yes.
But to expand our company to different states is one of my goals. And then my other goal is, which is in the works, I ain't gonna say too much about it, but getting into the acting world and the film industry, which
you're being worked on.
Yeah, I landed. Shout out to my mentor, Benny Negretti. But he helped me land a acting role in a film that will be dropping sometime next year, August. That's all I know. I have to, as I go.
Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. For now, it'll be my first actual movie, and I'm excited for it. And more of those to come because, I've always wanted to tap into something, and I've always thought that it was one thing when it was like, nah, my creativity and talent can venture off into other things, and I believe I figured it out. So, yeah, that's my goal, getting into the film industry and making movies, and also, blowing Golden Life Consulting through the roof is like going to different states. Illinois, we conquered, and we're continuing to conquer. But now it's time to go to different states and network and make business and bring results to clients in different areas of the world. That's my goal.
Awesome. So the last thing I want to do here before we end this is give you the podcast episode name, Health, Wealth, Mindset with Momentum. What does that mean for you? Because to everyone else, it means something different.
It means prosperity. And if I could sum it up in one word, just being prosperous. And, you got some really amazing questions. Look, she's good at she's great at this right here. This part here. She's a great journalist, I guess you can call that. And she has a gift of being a journalist. And that was all off. That's a freestyle for you. So that's how you know that's a gift. But prosperity, man. Just being able to, like, health, wealth, mindset with momentum, like that's just like mental, spiritual, and physical, and it's just prosperous to be able to be on this amazing podcast, and those questions help us be prosperous.
Okay. Shout out to this hand. Shout out to that hand. Shout out to that camera and that one watching us live. I appreciate you for all your time, your energy, your wisdom, and your knowledge, and dropping all these bombshells on us and letting us know what you have coming up next. Shout out to the next episode of Health, Wealth, and Mindset with Momentum. And we will be here for you soon. We have another episode loading up with one of our partners named Michelle in the mortgage industry. I'm so excited that it's going to be coming on Monday. And have an amazing weekend. We'll see you soon.
Stay tuned. Yeah.